Coming up on today's show, back after our Christmas break. Hope you all enjoyed the live show, so we'll be having a quick look at those. The 3 builds we had on the go just for Christmas, plenty of those parts went up over Christmas, so we'll be looking at the Heinkel. Really pushed on with that one. That was actually completed, so you're going to be catching up with that this week coming. The Mark IV Tamiya tank, that was also completed. Absolutely brilliant. I just love this kit. It's fantastic. We had a few troubles with the Meng F350, if we're honest, all in paintwork, so we'll be talking about those and how we've overcome them. Kit reviews. This week we had 2 kit reviews up. We had the Meng T90 with the dozer blade system on the front, and also we had the Trumpeter Dragonfly, the 148 kit. Not too impressed with that one, but you can see those there on the site now. We'll be looking at the next builds. These are the video builds for members, so we'll be looking at the Kitty Hawk Jaguar and the Tamiya Easy 8. They're going to be the next builds that we'll be starting next week. The honours list. We've got a couple of members we need to honour for being fantastic people, so they're going to become LTM or lifetime members to Flory models. The group and the SIG news, so we're going to be looking at the stirring up dust, how that one's going, and we've got soon to start the towed and towing vehicle SIG, so we'll be looking at those 2. Plus all the other news and gossip. Hello, welcome to Flory Models. I'm Flory. Hope you all enjoyed the Christmas and the New Year break. I say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you enjoyed the live shows. Obviously, we had a bit of a break for a couple of weeks doing the new shows like this. So we had the new shows, the live ones. We did a US live one, which was a great success, and everything else like that. So hope I kept you entertained nicely over Christmas. Got to thank the boys as well, obviously Steve, Stefan and Hans for being on the live shows with us as well, obviously as well as Sid, for obviously, because especially the US one was a bit late for us, especially for Stefan. I think it was like 1 in the morning before that one finished, but definitely it was a massive success, and we will be back to do one, and we want to do another Australian one. And as I say, especially, yes, you are all mad according to your partners about getting up at 6 in the morning, I think it was, on Sunday morning to get the US live show for the Australian guys, but a lot of fun. We enjoy doing them. They're a great laugh. We hope you enjoy them, and certainly from the feedback and that. And as I say, it's a light-hearted look at modelling. We answer as many questions as we can get through, and usually it's supposed to be 2 hours, but they're always 3 hours now, and in fact that one's 3.5 hours. But as I say, we enjoy doing it, and it's a little bit of fun, very easy, very laid back. So if you've never seen one, either pop into the archive section on the forum, or certainly have a look at the YouTube channel as well, the Pro Modeler, Flory Models Facebook page as well, so you can see them on there, and you can get an idea of what we get up to. So anyway, over the Christmas break, where should we start? I think we'll start on this one. So the fantastic working and everything Tamiya Mark IV tank is now well and truly stuck to the base. That's not intentional, it's literally where it's adhered itself down there. To get this wet look, I used gloss mixed with washes to literally get this wet muddy look and everything else, and the tank is well and truly stuck. So I've had the battery out, but there's no way this thing's ever going to run again. It was spoken about on the live shows, but it's definitely my kit of the year for 2014, purely because it was one of those situations where it sparked my interest again into World War I armour. The kit itself, being Tamiya as we know, is a beautiful kit. It goes together so well, and having the slight bit of engineering, doing the mechanical bit, I know it's only basic, but getting kids involved with it, and having something that moves and, you know, off it goes, is absolutely brilliant. So it's definitely my kit of the year. I know I wasn't alone with it. I know Steve as well, Sutcliffe, one of the team guys, when we spoke about it on the live shows, he agreed with me as well and said that it was a great thing. So that is my kit of the year 2014. Absolutely fantastic. Everybody should have one. And as I say, doing the weathering, the various bits and pieces we finished off just before we had our break, it really did bring it to life, as you can see. So have enjoyed that one absolutely thoroughly. In fact, so well, I'm looking at doing other armour all the time now and things like that. Okay, so dabbing it all over and getting it all in there, just like that, you see. All right, and then it's just a thing of making different textures, different areas, things like that. Perhaps you want a bit of mud, something else, using different colours, different bits of the wash, and stuff like that, really just to give us this type of mudded up effect. Now obviously I know this isn't going to stay wet, but when it dries, what I'm hoping is it's going to give the appearance, and then perhaps we can go over it with a gloss and heavily gloss it to give it this wet look. okay, as it goes right the way through. So we just chuck some bits in there. Then the idea, obviously, the tank is going to come along and he is going to sit in the middle of it, something like that, okay? And we get that nice contrast of the mud and everything else. But what we've got to obviously do is put mud over the tracks, okay? So what I've got here is just a little bit on here. So all we're going to do is now is just going to come along, taking it from here. The idea of taking it from down here is that it'll all be in the same colour to what's around, okay? So we're just picking it up and we're just chipping it at it to give it the muddy look as we go right over. And for the moment we're just doing it on the tracks, although what we're going to actually do is splatter it on the actual tank as well. Okay. The other thing as well that's been progressing along fantastically is the big old Heikel here. Now this is completely finished, you're just a little bit behind now, but as you can see we've really gone to town with the weathering on this one to show you all the different type of areas and the different, you know, sort of different ways, techniques of doing things and everything else like that. So there was multiple parts went up over Christmas. I kept them going up every couple of days to really get you back up to speed and everything else like that. There's still a couple more parts to come. This smoke staining you can see down here, I know when I put the photos up on Facebook a lot of you asked me how did I do it. Really straightforward, it's just 3 colours of grey, but I look at it in depth and I show it in depth as well, especially doing the weathering underneath here and everything else like that, and doing the pre, post and in between shades of everything else like this one, really to bring it to life. So it's quite an in-depth build with this one. It's going to be 15 or 16 parts. There's another part that's going to come up on Monday, and then I think the final reveal one will be probably on the Wednesday, something else like that. Again, really enjoyed it. Sad to see it end now. This is one of those kits where I was halfway through and I really lost the mojo, if I'm honest. You know, we all get it. You get the sort of the doldrums in the middle. This one, it was like, oh God, it's so big and everything else like that. And then it was a case of, right, okay, well look, now we can go to town with it. Put it this way around, I might have a bit more room. But doing this weathering, especially on the back end of it, and the chipping and playing with pastels as well as we did with this one. We went around and did pigment dust and stuff like that. It really was fun to do, and you sort of get that sort of mojo back for it again then, and literally really push forward with this one to get it to be finished as I finished it this week. So really, really enjoyed with that. So to say, it's multiple parts. There's about 4 parts since we last spoke doing the no show. This one up there now. So that one is finished, so it'll be finished off next week throughout the build. So if I just put it this way, I'll have a bit more room. So what we need to do now is a lot of the glazing work. So one of the things we spoke about early on was this section underneath here. Now you might be able to see you've got a little bit of white down here. This is because I've actually already done those bits a few moments ago for filling in windows. Now really, really simple technique, this one, and it's pretty much never failed me yet. It gives a very clear look. All you do, you have your cocktail stick, but what you want to put, it's a good generous dollop on the end, okay, not tons and tons, but something like that. All right, so you've got a good dollop on there. Then all you do, as I say, a little bit awkward holding this in all the angles. So literally all you're going to do, you're just going to come along like this, let it run slightly down to the end, and then all we're going to do, and as I'm doing this as an off angle, you just simply go and cover in everywhere, like so. All right, and that is it. It's literally just as simple as that. Okay, so when you look at it, get a closer angle, you can see that it's just like that. So you can see you've got a little bit of white on this guy down the bottom here as it's drying. These guys I did about an hour ago, okay, on this side, and these are all glazed over, no problem at all. Absolutely perfect. And as you can see from the underside, all the glazing looks pretty much spot on. Not a lot of difference between the two, and did save a lot of messing around of actually getting them in there. Last up, we have to speak about, we've got the F100 truck. A couple of parts went up just before we broke up for the Christmas break, but as I say, I haven't pushed on with it purely because had a bit of a problem. The UV, prismatic, whatever paint you want to call it, just didn't work how I wanted it to work. No matter what I did to it, it didn't really work. So I ended up doing it in typical Flory model fashion of just basically winging it. So we went along, we put on some 2-pack clear coats, polished it and everything, still wasn't happy with it. Ended back sanding that back, rekeying it, giving it another coat of the candy paint with that prismatic underneath. And I've ended up with what I'm very happy with is a very three-dimensional metallic. It's not just like a silver fleck now, because it's got the prismatic in there underneath a very light coat of candy again over the top. It's given it a very deep three-dimensional sort of, the best way to describe it, it's like a rainbow metallic in there now, but certainly it doesn't do the thing of changing colour and all things like that, but it generally is just an overall nice finish. Now, I had to let it dry off totally, because literally I put a fingerprint in the tailgate after 4 days of it drying. I was holding it and just having a look, took my finger away and I got a fingerprint in there, so I ended up having to rub that back and redo it. So I knew it was quite soft, so I've deliberately left it until, which will be Monday, so it's had a full week to totally go off and cure and harden before I get back in there and start pulling it about. But needless to say, the rest of it is all done. It just needs all to sort of go together now like a real car would. So that one will be finished next week as well. So as you say, there'll be another 2 or 3 parts of that one up. That will be finished off next week. So with the armour now is done and out of the way, the Heinkel's done and out of the way, and then obviously we've got the truck here in and out of the way. That's it. We're basically up to speed now. So we closed down the actual voting poll system that we actually had up on the forum. Thanks for everybody who's voted. I think we had something like 500 votes in there. The clear winner, to be honest, from the start was to do the Kitty Hawk Jaguar. Now, as I say, I'm not going to be doing it as part of the group build that's going on at the moment that's stirring up dust. We'll cover later on in the show, but I'm going to do it in this particular one because I love the snow camo. It's got that temporary alcohol remove paint system, or whatever they call it, with the white and the grey. So we're going to be going with that one. It's going to be pretty much straightforward out of the box. I might even do it in flight yet. Not too sure how we're going to work it. The only optional extra we're going to have on this one, we're going to have the Edard colour photo etch set for the cockpit, just because it will just speed things up and make things very, very easy. A bit of a rod from my own back. We know this kit isn't nice. We know it's got problems and everything else like that. But certainly from my point of view, I think it'd be great to show how to overcome some of those problems. One of the biggest problems apparently it's got is that if you do it gear up with everything closed, nothing fits. So that's why I'm thinking about doing it in gear up in flight. Don't know why I would go for that, but that will start next week. I'm literally starting on that on Monday. The other one as well, which actually came up quite late, I thought it was going to be the Halifax until this week, and then all of a sudden the percentage started to shift and we went with this one. So this is the Easy 8 one. This is the Tamiya, which is the Reeboks from the, can't remember now, Tusker kit and everything else. Allegedly, from everybody's telling me, this is the finest Sherman that there is in kit form in 1/35 scale. So it'd be really interesting to see how this one goes together. I've got a kit review of this one coming up on probably Monday or Tuesday next week as well, before we get going, so that will be up as well. So lots to look forward to on that one. Okay, so up this week we had a couple of kit reviews for you as well. We had what is undoubtedly the best T90 you're going to get out there. This is the Meng, but this one is with the TBS 86, which basically is a bulldozer blade, the hydraulic bit, but it all goes for that. Great thing is you get infrared LEDs to do the actual LED emitters on the front here, or the eyes as I call it. It's a beautiful kit. Have a look at the review. It's about 20 minutes long. It's quite in depth. I also do a quick show you how their track system, how it links together and goes together. Very nice, bit fiddly, but certainly better than doing the old like 10 parts clean up and putting together and all that type of thing. We also had up yesterday was the Dragonfly review. To be honest, not exactly impressed with the kit. It's quite disappointing, to be honest. We've had better out of trumpeter in more recent builds. Certainly it seems to be a little bit of a step backwards for them, but it is a nice one. It is recessed panel lines. There is some nice touches in there. It's just unfortunately overall it's quite clunky. It's very old school. It's almost like it's one of their older ones that when back in the day, and now they've decided to release it. I don't know if that was the option with that one, but certainly not too impressed with it. But you can see the review on that one. But if you are a Tweet fan or a Super Tweet fan, then obviously, you know, it's going to be a good kit for you. But just generally, just thinking it's lacking a little bit in the details. So the other thing as well, you can probably see in front of you we had 78 completed entries into the Operation Overlord group build. These are the medals for them. These are all ready to go now. Obviously I picked them up over Christmas. My plan is to do them tomorrow, Saturday. I'll sit down. So what I'm going to do is I will get these packaged all up. Obviously everyone's going to get a sticker and the black badge as well for it. So what I'm going to do is later on today I'm going to PM everybody who actually is eligible to get the medal, i.e. you completed on time the actual Operation Group Build 1, and then what I'll do is I'll ask you for your name and address. If you can put your full name and your address as you would appear, okay? Don't just put your address, because otherwise I can't just copy and paste it. I have to then type it all in, all the rest of it. It does make things so much easier for me if you can literally have full name, your address, okay, your country and your postcode, okay? That way it just makes things so much easier, because I can copy and paste it off in one, put it into a letter or head type thing, and then it can be printed off and then stuck to the front of the envelope, and away we go like that. Otherwise it means I've got to either sit down or write by hand, and it takes forever. So that'd be a real help for me, but I'm going to send them out probably by the time you actually be listening to this. I'll get those out to you. But congratulations to everybody who took part. The guys who won the major prizes, they're all behind me as well, ready to go. They'll be going out to you as well. So well done to everybody who won that. Speaking of congratulations and things like that, if you didn't watch the live show last Saturday for the US live show, myself and the team, we all sat down before we went on air during the day. And we spoke about it quite at length, and we had to think about and then came back and everything else. But for our New Year's honours list, okay, now this goes to members who have basically gone beyond what is a normal member. Now this could be numerous things. It could be generally helping out on the site and in the forum and things like that. It could be the way that they help other members and certainly interact with them, usually being uber helpful, answering questions, just generally trying to find out information, things like that. It may be the standard of their builds, i.e. they show warts and all exactly how they do and answer questions and then go back and do follow-ups to help out other members and things like that about your builds, okay? So, you know, it doesn't have to be you're a long-term member or a short-term member, anything else like that. It's just generally on the quality of your commitment, if you like, to the forum and to other members and things like that. So anyway, we had 3 winners for this year. So this is basically the 2014 honours list. Okay, the first one goes to Graham Mahoney. Congratulations to you. What you're going to get is basically free lifetime membership to Flory Models. So you're going to be an LTM member to all of these, okay? So if you do get something saying you're now cancelled, don't panic too much about it. Okay, Dougie Hunter, well done mate, you're a bit of a star on the site and everything else like that. And Andy Mason, so you 3, congratulations, you're now LTM members, you'll be here for life, if you like it or not. Well, at least you're not paying for it. But congratulations to you guys. You guys have always gone that little bit further. Normally it's just to the other members and things like that, helping out, being, you know, finding out things, coming back and just generally being there to help other members out and being a good egg or helping myself and the team and things like that. So congratulations to you guys. As you say, I've cancelled your subscriptions now. So certainly in the case, I think it was Dougie who had a panic earlier when he emailed me saying what's going on. That's because you didn't watch the live show in the US. And that's why I said you better watch today. So congratulations. So don't panic if you suddenly get a cancellation slip appear in your inboxes. Okay, so what else have we got going on at the moment? We've actually got the group builds. So the group builds are actually going on as we speak. We've got the Stirring Up Dust group build we said about earlier. This is a really interesting one from the point of view as it covers everything. We're not specifically focusing on a particular time frame or a particular conflict. Anything that's ever happened in the Middle East, from it could be, you know, the Knights Templar, as Keith's doing at the moment, absolutely brilliant, you know, something very old medieval times, right the way up to last week, okay? So you can literally go in there with, like Sid's doing, a Type 45 destroyer, you know, brand new, top of the line gear, okay? So it can be anything in between there. So we're thinking anything of, like, you know, the North African campaigns, World War II, right the way up to obviously, you know, terrorist, anti-terrorism type operations, things like that. Obviously anything that's happened in, you know, the usual things, Kuwait, you know, Iraq, you can do Iranian wars as well if you wanted to, so you can put some of those guys in. Obviously anything Israeli Defence Force, basically anything that's ever happened, and let's face it, you're pretty sport for choice there. It can be anything, okay? So it does cover anything from naval through to, you know, obviously land, And it can be civilian as well, so you could put in civilian stuff and bits and pieces in there. So really it is your personal choice what you want to do. Loads of scope. That's going to run now. It's running now. It started on the 3rd and it's going to run to the 21st of June. Okay, so there's plenty of time for that one. You can really push on with that one. Okay, and then we've got the towed and towing SIG about to start. It's going to start on the 17th of January. It's going to run to the 10th of May, being a SIG. It's a slightly shorter one as well. Basically with that one, we're thinking anything that is either a towing vehicle or is being towed. So you could do something like, I don't know, a Flak 88 on its own, or you could do the truck, everything goes with it. We're thinking recovery type things, but anything that's towed and towing, obviously artillery, you know, it's massive scope. Again, anything goes, so it can be from dawn of time to present day as well. So we've got a couple of things really running on at the moment. So lots to keep you busy, certainly lots to keep me busy at the moment. Okay, so that's about it for this week. What we're going to do now is bring back the thing of like one of your builds, okay, which we sort of pick out of the actual forum and show you guys something else. So Richard Morre, I know I haven't commented on it because I've been watching it from afar like you do. He's just completed the 1/72nd scale Airfix Vulcan, and let's face it, it's not a nice kit. It's got so much potential, but at the end of the day, it is just so much of a pain. It's raised panel lines, it doesn't go together particularly well, the seam lines are horrendous and everything else like that. He's done a real masterclass in actually how to come over those problems, and he's shown it very well as in the forum as well, so it's well worth having a look for you guys in the forum to see it. Especially like rescribing using Stanley blades. Who knew? Okay, but yeah, he's done an amazing job on that. But he's overcome so many what we would call nightmare scenarios, and he's just done that thing of, right, okay, it's a nightmare, how are we going to fix it? Okay, so he has had the thing with, obviously, you know, like I had on this, to be honest, we had like the mist spray section, right, you've got to go back and got to go and fix it. You know, obviously a little bit of rescribing issues, got to go back and fix it once it's been painted. Decaling killed him. Watermarks with decaling, but at the end of the day it turned out and was a fantastic piece of kit, and it's on a beautiful in-flight display model, standing technically on its arse, which is, you know, an amazing way to display the Vulcan. It's a big old kit, even in 72nd it's a large lump, and it's a good way of getting it off and stopping it being from a dust magnet. Really putting it on its arse like that really is a great thing. So anyway, that's it for this week. As I say, I'm going to get to you all about your medals and everything else this week. There's loads of things going up at the moment. Got to just mention the review section is being completely overhauled on the site. You can go and see it. Thumbnail type videos now, you can click on them and then you can obviously go full screen afterwards. I'm in the process of getting them all in and cutting them out of news shows and putting them as standalones and everything else like that. So if you do see things going right in there, don't worry about it too much as we move right the way through. So there we go, that's it for this week. We'll see you again next week. We've got the live show on Tuesday, so make sure you tune in for that one. Usual time, 7 o'clock British time, yourselves, wherever you are in the world. Please come and join us. Usual thing, post your questions up in the forum. Me and Sid will get through as many as we can. So that's it for this week. I'm going to leave you now with Richard Morre's amazing 1/72nd Airfix Vulcan.